Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Today is the weekend and I have two stories for you. Story number one is Maharashtra government has decided to cut down 2,702 trees from a place called Aarey in Mumbai. That's my story number one. My story number two is about NRC. The government says that 19 lakh people are not Indian citizens. What happens to these 19 lakh people? That's my story number two. Let's get right into the show. The Amazon forest has been burning for the last 1 month. It has taken tremendous toll on the flora and fauna in the forest. Not only that, a lot of tribesmen have lost their homes in the fire. They say that 90% of the time the fire is man-made. Man causes the fire and man destroys the environment. Mind you, Amazon is called the lungs of our world. It's the lungs of our world is because 20% of oxygen on planet Earth comes from the Amazon forest. Okay. The whole world raised its voice against these kind of man-made fires in Amazon. Our own celebrities, a lot of our film stars and celebrities raised their voice against the Amazon fire. And we all said, you see, it's our job to protect the environment. Very good. Now let me come closer to home. The lungs of Mumbai undoubtedly is a place called Aarey, which is situated close to Borivali in Mumbai. It's a patch of green, lush land with huge amount of trees. For the last many years, the Maharashtra government has tried to cut those trees, clear those trees to build metro, rail and car shed and all of that. And I'm sure a lot of those land in the future will also go to builders. The government has been trying their best to do it. Organizations like the Greenpeace activists, the Aarey colony residents has always stood their grounds and ensured that they stopped such a move from the government. Yesterday, in a BMC Tree Authority meeting, the activists who were trying to protect the tree lost. They lost to the politicians. They lost to people who wanted to cut trees and build infrastructure there. Build commercial infrastructure there, make money out of the land. They lost. The real face of politics was shown yesterday. And how beautifully it was shown yesterday. Because very surprisingly and I was very pleasantly surprised that Shiva Sena stood their grounds. Shiva Sena stood with the Greenpeace organization, with the Aarey colony residents organization and ensured they voted against cutting the trees. But the arch enemies like NCP voted for cutting the trees. Congress, of course, played smart. Congress walked out. And they said, मुझे मालूम ही नहीं था voting होने वाला है. I didn't know that was going to vote. So, we were not heard. So, we walked out. So, finally what happened? 2,702 trees are going to be cut. Two things. You see, first of all, shame on Congress. Shame on Congress. Shame on NCP. See, NCP, I don't even want to say anything because it was always a party of opportunists. So, what are you expecting out of NCP? On the other hand, I think the sheer power, as they say, absolute power corrupts absolutely. I think the sheer arrogance of power has gone into BJP. I don't think they really care about the public sentiments because I know whether we vote or not, they are going to win. So I guess it doesn't really matter to BJP anymore whether there is public sentiments for or against a project that they want to moot. They have become a party that can bulldoze their values, their ideas and their ambitions onto the people of India, especially in Maharashtra, because of the kind of dominance they have. But like I said, shame on Congress. And sad that NCP has still not learned their lessons. I'm happy that at least Shiv Sena stood their ground. Now that's one end of the story. That's the political story. Now let's talk about the celebrities of Mumbai. Oh, a lot of film stars, politicians, intellectuals wrote about Amazon on their Twitter, and they had on their Facebook and all their social media and all of that. Not one person has spoken about the Aarey tree massacre that's going to happen in the next couple of months. Not one person has bothered to write about it. Nobody is bothered. They're bothered about Amazon, but they are not bothered about their own backyard. This is the hypocrisy. So anyway, while we were concerned about Amazon and the lungs of the earth, Mumbaikars and Indians are not concerned about Aarey, the lungs of Mumbai. So the next time you hear our great leaders standing in various podiums and speaking about environment, mind you, they are the same people who at a drop of a hat will pass a bill to cut 2,702 trees. That gives you the oxygen you breathe. In 1985, the Assam Accord was signed. And as part of the Assam Accord, it was said that government will take steps to deport the illegal immigrants from Bangladesh. This was after a huge 6 years protest from the students in Assam. So this was decided and the process started then. The NRC process started since 1985. People who were citizens of India till the 25th of March 1971 midnight would continue to be the residents of India, and the rest of the people will be asked to go back to Bangladesh. This is what the whole idea of the NRC was. Now this entire process of NRC started since then. Of course, when the Bharatiya Janata Party came into the government, they were very, very vociferous about pushing out the illegal immigrants, especially from Bangladesh. Now, that is when they started this entire process. They sped up the process. They invested in the process, and the NRC started off. So they were supposed to make a list of all the applicants. They received around 3.3 crore applications for the residentship of India. And from this application, they wanted to weed away the illegal immigrants and get the balanced people as the citizens of India. They wanted to formalize the entire process. Okay. So, in the first list, the so-called final list came out in 2018. In 2018, out of the 3.3 crore applications, they weeded out 40 lakh people as illegal immigrants. The rest, they were formalized as citizens of India. The Supreme Court at that point in time said nothing doing. They said, nay, there is some problem here. 40 lakh people can't just be thrown out. 40 lakhs people can't be, illegal immigrants. So you need to reconsider it. Though mind you, the center said even at that point in time that the 2 crore 80 lakh people who were formalized as citizens of India, the center said, nay, maybe 20% there could be a problem. But the court said nothing doing. They said, you please go and reevaluate this. This 40 lakh figure we are not willing to buy. Okay. The government went back. And they started reevaluating the entire process. Took another 1 year. Now they have come out with the new figures. And the new figure says it is 19 lakhs. 40 lakhs now got reduced to almost half, and it became 19 lakhs. So the government gave a figure of 19 lakhs. It doesn't mean that these 19 lakh people who were not included in the list are going to be thrown out overnight, or they'll be asked to go to Bangladesh overnight and all. All that won't happen. What the government has done is the government has set up an immigrants tribunal where these people can go and reapply, reevaluate. Okay, and if they are not satisfied, they can go to the High Court. If they are not satisfied, they can go to the Supreme Court. So it is not that they are going to be thrown away starting day after tomorrow, all that won't happen. So to that extent, of course, yes. But the fact remains that 19 lakh people overnight were told that you are not a resident of India. So that is the situation. Let's go further. Now, where is the problem? The problem, which I think nobody is really talking about, is not just about the NRC, not just about the 19 lakh people, not just about the fact that these 19 lakh people's life all of a sudden overnight became uncertain. It is about how these 19 lakh people were weeded out. You see, this entire system was laden with corruption. There were stories about corruption and these government officers taking money from almost every individual to include their name in the list. So what really happens is, you see, people who could afford are in the list. And most of those 19 lakh people who are not in the list most of them are people who couldn't afford. So it may not be necessarily be about the person genuinely being a resident of India, genuinely being a citizen of India, or genuinely having the proper document. It could be about the person who has got the money and the person who doesn't have the money. And that's the problem. I'll tell you what I mean by that. June 14th, I'll read out this report. In a first, the Supreme Court monitored National Registered Citizens in Assam on Thursday, witnessed and arrested 2 officials for accepting bribe from a complainant called Kajari Ghosh Datta in Guwahati. Now this Kajari Ghosh Datta had the wherewithal, could go and complain, so he got 2 people arrested. But if you go, and my reporters did, my team did, if you go down to Assam and actually talk to these tribals, actually talk to a lot of these people who cannot afford 2 square meals, now these people have no wherewithal, they don't have the money to give. So these 19 lakhs people, bulk of them are people who cannot afford. And that's bad. July 20, 2 senior officers were arrested. August 14th, another 2 Assam officials were caught taking bribe. This was according to the report in NDTV. August 18th, again people were arrested. Every day, every second day, these people were seen taking bribe, were caught taking bribe. So what is worrisome is as follows. The first point, what is worrisome, is from 3 crore 30 lakhs, the government thought that 40 lakh people were illegal immigrants. In 1 year's time, that 40 lakh figure came plummeting down to 19 lakhs. How do we know that even this 19 lakh figure is right? In 1 year, the figure went down by half. Maybe if you give it 1 more year, 19 lakhs will come to 9 lakhs. Maybe another 1 more year and it will come to 3.5 lakhs. Maybe another 1 year, it will come to 1.5 lakhs. So, how come such huge discrepancy? How come such huge discrepancy in figures? And coupled with the fact that almost every officer in ground is seen as corrupt. This exercise seems to be very, very dangerous and very unfair, especially to people who can't afford. Unfortunately, NRC may not be necessarily weeding out the illegal immigrants. It may actually be weeding out people who are poor and who can't afford. And that's sad.